have seen in this particular circuit that the clock overhead was very high. The load to the clock, which is very high, for each and every stage it has to drive 10 transistors. So we have modified the design like this. So here the clock has the load of the clock is reduced by only the by 6 transistors. So, but the problem associated with this particular design is reverse conduction. Up to here only we have seen yesterday. So, reverse conduction, we have explained that at that time, reverse conduction can be overcome by replacing this I4 inverter with a uh, weak inverter, so that the reverse conduction can be eliminated. So this diagram shows the register design based on fast transistor. So this is also a positive edge triggered D register, since my slave is a positive register. Since clock, when I am applying clock equal to 1, at that time only the D is going to come out at the output. So based on the, as we have seen yesterday, based on the slave mode only, we are going to mention whether it is a positive register or a negative register. So yesterday, while doing the discussion, we have assumed that all the clock and clock bar are non-overlapping clock. But in practical cases, it is not the case, because clock and clock bar both are generated from the same source, but due to some internal delay in the inverter for generating this clock bar, so sometimes there will be a delay or in generating this clock bar signal. So due to the delayed clock bar signal, in few places there will be some overlaps. So see here, this is 0 1 1 overlap. Here you have a 0 0 overlap. Here again a 1 1 overlap. Here again a 0 0 overlap. So this overlapping conditions results in faulty outputs. So sometimes we may be expecting that some logic 0 has to be obtained. The normal operation of a register is in the initial case, if master is in the transparent mode, your slave has to be in hold mode. And in the second case, your slave will be in transparent mode and your master will be in hold mode. This is the usual working. Then only your D will sampled in the initial phase of the clock. Then the next phase of the clock, the previous value will be stored and the current value will be goes out through the output. This is the normal working of a master slave register. But due to this overlapping clock, so see at this particular point, clock as well as clock bar both are 1. See this, say, clock and clock bar both are 1. So here it is a pass transistor concept. When I am applying clock as well as clock bar both are 1, so you don't have any effect. So both the transistor will be in on condition in this case. As well as here also I am applying clock bar equal to 1, clock equal to 1. Here also both the transistor will be in on condition. So both the stages of master and slave will be in transparent mode. As this transistor and this transistor is on, so D will pass on to the output directly without any hold mode operation. So this is the problem associated with the overlapping clock. So when we encounter with an overlapping clock, so we have to modify or we have to apply two different phases of the clock by using this particular circuit. So we are going to apply the original clock to a circuit which is going to generate two phases of the clock. See here, it is already you aware of this particular design. This is a normal cross-coupled NOR gate. So here initially we are going to pass the clock to an inverter. Here it is a buffer. So this is PHI1 will be an inverted phase of the clock, and PHI2 is the normal phase of the clock. So with the equal delay in the path, if you see here, the delay in the path is very equal. So this PHI1 and PHI2 both will be a non-overlapping phases of the clock. So if we are applying these non-overlapping phases here, as I have specified, PHI1 is an inverted clock and PHI2 is a non-inverted clock. So non-inverted clock is applied at the slave side. Then only it will be a positive latch. So the inverted phase of the clock is applied at the master side. So see, you can able to see in the timing diagram itself that both the clocks are non-overlapping. So it is differentiated with the time parameter of t non-overlap. So now in this case, both the PHI1 and PHI2, there is no overlap, and you don't have any problem what we have discussed in this diagram. So either master or either slave will be in transparent mode at a time. The next phase, either of the one will be in hold mode. So it will be working the normal conditions. So if we go for two phases of the clock, so we can able to overcome this overlapping condition of the clock. And why we are not considering 0 0 overlap? Because we don't have any PMOSes, so no need to consider that 0 0 overlap. So as the design is completely done with the pass transistor NMOS, so we need to consider only the NMOS and 1 overlap. Next circuit what we have to discuss is a low voltage static latches. This is the diagram of a low voltage static latches with multiple threshold CMOSes. So why we required a low voltage static latches? In most of the cases, we are dealing with normal circuits, but if we go for a scaling, we have already seen scaling in the second unit, first unit, right? So if you go for voltage scaling, so we may try to reduce the input voltage as small as possible for the particular design. So at that time, so if you are not considering low voltage static latches, the normal transistor cannot adapt the scaling down in the supply voltage. So at that time, the normal working of your transistor will get affected. So that's why we are going for multiple threshold CMOS, in that you will be having both high voltage transistors as well as low voltage transistors. So according to this structure, when we are activating the circuit is in not activating when the circuit is in ideal mode or sleep mode, the normal high voltage transistors will get active, and your transmission gate is going to sample the D value when clock equal to 0, as NMOS is connected to clock. Okay, and the hold mode can be enabled using this feedback transmission gate, and clock equal to 1. This clock is connected to this NMOS, and this clock is connected to this PMOS. So when clock equal to 1, this NMOS transistor, this transmission gate will get activated, and so it will give the sufficient feedback path in the hold mode. And the normal cases, the low threshold voltage transistor will act, and this extra um, inverter is given to um, store the state of your static multiple threshold voltage state change that can be recorded with respect to this extra inverter that is given. This is the concept of multiple threshold CMOS. So you will be having low threshold voltage transistor as well as high threshold voltage transistor in your circuit. So it can able to adapt both high voltages as well as low voltage scaling also. That's all about static CMOSes. So we can go into dynamic latches and resistors. So initially, while discussing about transmission gate based design, we were using this type of static transmission gate, and by reducing the clock overhead, uh, clock load, this circuit only we are going to utilize to modify the design for dynamic CMOS. So for dynamic CMOS, we are going to use the same circuit for transmission gate by replacing this uh, cross-coupled inverters. So instead of this cross-coupled inverters, actually this cross-coupled inverters are used to store my logic values in hold mode, right? So it can able to store logic 0 or logic 1 based on bistability principle. So in the case of dynamic latches, by replacing this feedback inverter, I am going to insert one capacitor for that particular storage. This is the modification what we are doing. So here in the hold mode, the storing of logic 0 or logic 1 will be taken care by this particular capacitor in each stage. So according to the circuit, here NMOS is connected to clock bar, here NMOS is connected to clock. So my slave is a positive latch and the master is a negative latch. So I can conclude that it is a positive edge triggered dynamic resistor. So initially when I am applying clock equal to 0, so your transmission gate 1 will be on and 2 will be off. So your transmission gate 1 will sample the D value, and when D equal to 1, your capacitor is will charge, and when D equal to 0, your capacitor will discharge. So based on that, you will be storing logic 1 or logic 0 here in the next clock of at that time at the case of hold mode. So when I'm applying changing the clock from 0 to 1, um, your transmission gate 1 will be off, and your master will go to hold mode, and the transmission gate 2 will on, it will be going to transparent mode. So whatever D value sampled by T1 will be passed to output by transmission gate 2. So in the very next clock, it will be going into hold mode. Again, it will be master will be in transparent mode. So a new D value will be sampled by your transmission gate 1. So this is the explanation about this particular dynamic difficult resistor. Here also, actually in the case, we are using two different clocks, clock phases of clock and clock bar. So when according to the practical cases, clock bar is generated also from the same source through an inverter. So due to the delay in the inverter, so we may get two different phases for clock and clock bar, some overlapping phases. So since we are using both PMOS and NMOSs here, so at that time we have to consider both the 0-0 overlap and 1-1 overlap. So initially in the static pass transistor design, we didn't consider this 0-0 overlap because we had only NMOS in our design. So in transmission gate design, we have both 0-0 and both PMOS and NMOS. So at that time, we have to consider 0-0 and 1-1 overlap. So if you see here, in some particular case, both clock and clock bar is 0. At that time, Here also 0, clock bar also 0. So both the T1 and T2 will on at that time. So both T1 and T2 will on. So D will directly go to output without the normal working of master, without going through the normal working of master and slave. So if you consider this 1-1 overlap, so both the clock and clock bar are 1. So clock equal to 1, clock bar also 1. So both the NMOSes in the transmission gate will on. So both the T1 and T2 will be in on condition. In this case also D will directly go to the output. So the 0, 0 and 1, 1 overlap is a very important problem associated with this dynamic latches. This due to this 0, 0 and 1, 1 overlap, uh, uh, so it will result in actually this issue is known as clock skew, and it will result in race condition. So so initially why we are going for this master slave configuration is very important. Advantage of master slave configuration was it doesn't have any race condition. So if you see the previous design and all, initially we are assuming that we don't have any non overlapping clock. So if you consider the overlapping clock in master slave flip flop also we have race conditions. Actually, in the initial stage of the chapter, we have discussed only positive latch and negative latch. In positive latch also you have transparent mode and hold mode. We are going to pass the value and we are going to store the value. In the master slave concept also the same type of working is happening. But compared to your individual latches, master slave registers are more advantageous since it doesn't have any race conditions by the assumption that we are using a non-overlapping clock. But in practical cases, due to the delay in clock bar generation, so we have this overlapping clocks and it will result in clock skew, and thus it result in a race condition. So in order to overcome this particular problem associated with our dynamic latch, dynamic register, we are going for C squared MOS. The expansion of C squared MOS is clocked complementary metal oxide semiconductor. So for this particular design, we are going to adopt this particular C squared MOS circuit. So you see here in between, actually you forget about this clock and clock bar. You simply consider M1 and M2. It is a normal CMOS inverter. If you are considering M1 and M2 alone, it is a normal CMOS inverter which is supplied with D as input at both of the gates of NMOS and PMOS. So in between your normal CMOS, we are connecting clock. That's why the name is clocked CMOS. So the PMOS is connected with another PMOS which is supplied with clock. Here NMOS is connected with another NMOS which is supplied with clock bar. So why I have connected clock and clock bar is here the master stage is a negative latch. So based on the NMOS circuitry, when I am applying clock equal to 0, at that time only these two transistors will switch on and normal inverter action will happen. So that's why we have connected clock bar and clock here. So your slave stage is a positive latch. That's why we are connecting clock to this particular NMOS and clock bar to this particular NMOS. When clock equal to 1, this transistor will on, as well as when clock equal to 1, clock bar equal to 0, this transistor also will on. So it will also work as a normal inverter. So once D is when initially, so according to the design, by seeing the clock which is connected to the NMOS of the slave, we can conclude that it is a positive edge triggered D register. because that positive and negative, which is we are mentioning at the name of each and every dynamic or static, is based on the slave stage of it. Here slave is a positive ledge, master is a negative ledge. So combinedly my design is a positive edge triggered D register using C squared model. So we can say it is a C squared master slave positive edge triggered register. So before getting into that particular topic, I wanted to remind one thing that okay, not here, in the next topic. So this is the normal design of a C squared MOS. And we have to see how it is going to overcome this 0, 0 and 1, 1 overlap. If you initially consider 0, 0 overlap, so due to the delay in clock bar, 0, 0 overlapping is coming in the clock and clock bar. So consider clock as well as clock bar, both are 0. So in the previous cases and all, if any overlap is coming, the normal working of master slave get affected and D will directly go to the output. So as we are doing a design which is to overcome this 0, 0 and 1, 1 overlap. So when this 0, 0 and 1, 1 overlap comes, so this faulty operation should not happen. As when 0, 0 and 1, 1 overlap come, D should not go at the output directly. That is our ultimate aim. We have to check whether it is satisfying the condition or not. So initially I'm going to consider 0, 0 overlap. So when I am applying clock and clock bar as 0. So here it is, I am applying clock is 0, so PMOS will on. Clock bar equal to 0, so NMOS is off. So the normal working of the inverter is getting affected, that this NMOS is cut down from the normal design. And here also clock bar equal to 0, clock equal to 0. This PMOS will on, this NMOS will off. So your design will go like this. So you don't have any direct connectivity from D2 output. So we have overcome the 0, 0 overlap by using this design. So now we have to consider 1, 1 overlap. We are going to apply clock equal to 1, clock bar equal to 1. So when clock equal to 1, PMOS is in off condition. When clock bar equal to 1, the NMOS will on. Here also this NMOS will on, this PMOS will off. So your circuit will modified like this. Here also you don't have any direct connectivity between input and output. So D to Q, there is no direct connection. So you can conclude that CMOS, C squared MOS is there is no 0, 0 and 1, 1 overlap which is happening in this particular C squared MOS. So we have overcome these race conditions in C squared MOS by using this particular design. And another important application of using this C squared MOS is dual edge triggered register. Actually, when a register is considered, previously we will be discussing a positive edge triggered register or a negative edge triggered register. So based on the positive edge triggered register means your circuit will active when it is encountered with the rising edge of the clock. That is known as positive edge triggered register. The positive name is given based on the slave mode. So slave will be in transparent mode when we are supplying a rising edge to the slave. At that time, master will be supplied with a falling edge and it will be in hold mode. So if you say it is a negative edge triggered register, so slave will be active or slave will be in transparent mode when we are giving a falling edge of the clock to the slave. At that time, master will be in hold mode. It is supplied with the increasing or rising edge of the clock. But very, very effective design is dual edge triggered flip flop. In this case, your circuit can make use of both rising edge as well as falling edge for the normal operation. In the previous case, so your circuit will be inactive only for rising edge of the clock or falling edge of the clock. So throughout a time period, half of the clock is utilized for the normal working of your design. So in the dual edge triggered flip flop, both the rising and falling edge we are utilizing. So entire time period of the clock is utilized. So compared to the previous design, this dual edge triggered register will be twice faster than your previous design. So here you see the normal working is so this is the normal C squared MOS design. So this will work normally as what we have discussed. Parallelly to this design, we are going to connect another C squared MOS. Here, whatever logic we are applying, for example, if it is a positive edge triggered C squared MOS means it is going to be a negative edge trigger. Or if it is a negative edge triggered C squared MOS means it is going to be positive edge trigger. According to the structure what they have defined here, the slave mode is connected, NMOS of the slave mode is connected with clock bar here, right? So it is a negative edge triggered the C squared MOS. Here the NMOS of the slave is connected with clock, so it is a positive edge triggered register. So when we want to utilize both positive as well as negative edge trigger, so we have to connect these two circuits parallelly. And while using that, you see here you have node N1 and node N2 here. So instead of actually parallel to this N1 and N2 only, we are going to connect this circuit by reutilizing M1 and M4 transistor. So we are going to use the same transistor M1 and N4 here also, which is connected. So assume a three-dimensional view. This entire design is parallelly connected to this particular D register, and this N1 point is connected here, and this N2 point is connected here. So this M4 and M1 are common for this particular negative D register as well as this particular positive D register. So this is the efficient C squared MOS design, which is going to be twice faster than your previous design. And true single phase clock register, it is an alternate design. Actually, the C squared MOS is implemented to overcome this 0 and 1 overlap in the case of you have two different phases of the clock. So an alternative design of is designed so that here you don't have any issue of 0 and 1 overlap itself. So we are going to modify the entire design to overcome that problem associated with the two different phases. So that's why we are named this particular register as true single phase clock register. So you are going to merely use a single phase of the clock. See here, you have only clock associated with. So the design is like you have two stages. One is your master, another one is slave. So if you compare this C squared MOS design and this particular design, in C squared MOS design, you had one PMOS and NMOS circuitry in between this stage. But here you have only one NMOS or one PMOS. So this is your positive latch when you are connecting clock to an NMOS. So that is a positive latch. So when we are using PMOS, that is a negative latch. So the working is normally when clock equal to, it is a positive latch, right? So it will merely transfer whatever we are applying as input to the output when we are applying clock equal to 1. So when clock equal to 1, both this transistor will be on. So it will act as a normal two inverters connected cascadedly. So input initially it will be inverted and it will come here. Again, another inverter, it will invert and the normal input value will come out. So if you see the negative latch, we are going to apply clock equal to 0. So when clock equal to 0, both the PMOS will on and it will act as the normal inverter state. So this is the case of true single phased clocked latches. Because the clocked means we are connecting clock in between the normal inverter. That's why the name clocked register. Through single phase, the name came. We are going to use only the single phase of the clock. That we are going to provide only clock. No clock bar is given here. So since no clock bar is used, so we don't have any issue of overlapping clock skew and race condition. Nothing is available in this particular TSPCR logic. In sometimes you may get a question in university that design the circuits for eliminating clock skew. At that time, you can able to implement both C-squared MOS as well as true single phase clock register. Both can be applicable. And we are going for some modifications in the true single phase clock register. So the circuit will look like this. Simplified true single phase latch. Here extra one transistor is eliminated. So this second stage transistor can be eliminated. So this input also you can connect it here. You can remove this clock and you can connect this particular. This is the modification they have done. So this is a positive latch, this is a negative latch. See here in this diagram they have mentioned as simplified TSPC latch, also called split output. So sometimes you may get in university that throw split output design like that. So you can able to expect these type of questions. These are all indirect questions. So if you are not going through this particular, only in this diagram only they have mentioned about that split output name. Nowhere else in the textbook. Only in this image. So you can able to get this type of questions if they want to take a difficult question paper. So actually you have gone through, so at that time you have to remember this alternative name also, split output. This is a simplified true single phase clock latch. This is a positive latch. We are going to supply the clock to only one NMOS. This NMOS is going to applicable for this one. Actually the connection is a parallel connection. We are going to reuse this clock as we have seen in the dual edge triggered flip flop, right? So we have reused that M1 and M4 transistor like with this. Here in the simplified TSPC, instead of using two different transistors for supplying clock, we are going to replace it with a single transistor here as well as here. Here it is an NMOS, here it is a PMOS.